Hello students, I'm Professor Prakash Naik, HOD of PC Department and Human Resource Management and Computer Application Vertical. Today we shall do a session on system programming. So today's session is about loaders. Before we come to loaders, let us have an introduction of loaders. So starting with what a program is. Program is a set of instructions that is used to do a specific task. So what exactly happens is we write a program probably in a high level language or in a machine level language. This program that we write in a high level language or a machine level language is called as a source program. These instructions we human beings can understand, but the machine cannot understand because the machine understands only one language, that is machine level language or a binary language. So what we actually do is we use a translation program, a program translator that will translate the high level language program or an assembly level language program to a machine level language program. Right? So once it is translated, what exactly happens is an object program is created. This object program is an OBJ file. It contains machine instructions. Now this object program needs to be converted to an executable file. To convert to an executable file, what we have is we have a system program called as a linker. Now what does the linker do? Linker will call the essential library files where the codes are already been written, and those codes will execute, and after execution of these codes, what exactly happens is it will create an exe file or called as an executable file. These executable files has to be executed, has to be run. To execute the executable file, what we do is we need to load the program in the computer memory. It is here we come across a concept called as loader. So now what is a loader? Loader is a system software program that performs the function of loading. Or in other words, it is a process of placing the program in the computer memory for execution. It will initiate the execution of the process. You can see on the computer screen, there are two programs, P1 and P2. So this P1 and P2 needs to be loaded into the memory. Needs to be loaded into the memory. So the program P1 and P2 will be converted to an object file. These objects are taken by the linker and converted to an exe file. Now what will the loader do is, the loader will call the necessary database for some references and access the references, right? And what happens? The execution will start. On the right hand side, you can see there are four separate locations. So the first one is vacant, memory is not utilized. The second location, P1 program is been stored. In third location, P2 program is been stored. Fourth location is again empty. So what exactly happens? The program will be loaded into the memory in order to execute the instructions of the program. Now the question comes, what are the functions of a loader? What for the loaders have been used? The first function of a loader is allocation. What do you mean by allocation? Allocation means reserve space in the memory for a program or allocate space in the memory for a program. That part is over. The second function is linking. So linking refers to resolving the symbolic reference between object tech. That means what? There may be one object or more than one object. Now this one object and more than one object, what we will do is the linker will consult some of the library files. Using those library files, those instructions will be executed. It will make an executable file by using this linker. The third function is reallocation. Adjust all the address dependent locations such as address constants to a corresponding allocated space. Means what? Once it is allocated, due to some reason we now need to increase the memory allocation. It's called as reallocation. The fourth part is loading. The program is physically placed and the data into the memory. Physically place the machine instructions and the data into the memory is called as loading. Means what? All those machine instructions and the corresponding data are placed in the memory. This process is called as loading. So here we have come across 4 functions of a loader. Okay, going further, we come to the loader scheme. In this video, we'll come across 3 loader schemes. Number 1, compile and go. Number 2, general loading scheme. Number 3, absolute loading scheme. Now coming to the first one, compile and go loader scheme. So what is this compile and go? It is one method of performing the loader function to assemble the assembler in one part of the memory and place the assembled machine instructions and data as they are assembled into the assigned memory location. On your computer screen, you can see a diagram. So one location is an assembler. The entire assembler has been stored to the memory. In one more location, there is data and the machine instructions. So what the assembler will do? Assembler will translate the data and the machine instructions. Assembler will translate the data and machine instructions. And then it will execute it. When the assembling is completed, the assembler causes the transfer to the starting instruction of the program, that is the first instruction of the program. So such a loading scheme is commonly called as compile and go or assemble and go. See the diagram on the screen. There is a source program, a source program. Now compile and go translate has been taken. Right? So in the memory, you can see that the program has been loaded and other side the assembler has been loaded. That means what? The assembler and the program are loaded simultaneously. What will the assembler do? Assembler will first translate it into a machine language and then execute the object program that has been created. What is the advantage of loader? Easy to implement. Simple, easy to follow. This means the program that has been loaded by the loaders will make it simple and easy to follow and will be easy to implement. When there is an advantage, there is also some disadvantages. Let me come to the first one. the portion of the memory is wasted because the core occupied by the assembler is unavailable to the object program. This means when the assembler is stored into the memory, it will occupy some memory. When it is occupied, there will be no space for other objects to be stored. So those spaces will be unavailable to the object program. One disadvantage. Second, it is necessary to retranslate the user's program every time it has been run. Which means each time we run the program, every time the program will be retranslated or reassembled. The third disadvantage is that when there are multiple segments, especially different languages, it is difficult to handle. Means what? One object will be of one language, other object will be of other language. In such a case, what happens is it will be difficult for the loader to manage it. So these are the disadvantages of compile and go loader scheme. This was about compile and go. Now let us come to the next loader scheme, general loader scheme. Okay. Before I come to general loader scheme, we shall see what is the problem in compile and go loader scheme. In compile and go loader scheme, the output instructions and the data are assembled together. What are that? The data and the output instructions are assembled together. Due to this, the assembler is stored in the main memory, which results in wastage of memory. So this was one of the disadvantages of compile and go. To overcome this, what we need is we need a program which is having the less size than that of assembler. It is here we come across loader, which accepts the machine instructions, the data and other informations present in an object format and places the machine instructions and data in core in an executable form. So here what we'll do is we'll use a program which is having the lesser size than the assembler. What it will do? It will load the program into the computer memory and execute the object's instructions one by one. See the diagram on the screen. The source program is been taken by the translator. It translates and converts to an object file. So this object are being loaded into the loader. So what this loader will do? The loader will place it in the memory. You can see that in one place there's a loader and in one more place there is an object program which is ready for execution. Right? So both are stored simultaneously, but loader will consume the lesser space. And one by one instructions will go on executing. Coming to the third type, that is absolute loader. In this loading scheme, the assembler outputs the machine language translation for source program in the same form as compile and go, except that it is punched in the card. It is placed directly into the memory. In turn, the loader will simply accept the machine language text and place it in the core at the location prescribed by the assembler. You can see a diagram on the screen. So there are two modules, main module and SQRT. Now, this main program is assigned a location. Take for example 100 to 247. That means what? The main module locations begins with 100 and ends up to 247. Whereas SQRT module is assigned the location 400 to 477. So these two modules have been taken by the absolute loader and it has been stored in the computer memory. Further, the end of the main is the overlap of SQRT. So where the main program ends, it is nothing but overlapping of the SQRT. It would then be necessary to assign the SQRT to a new location by changing its starting position. Now here there are four functions of absolute loading. One is allocation, one is linking, one is reallocation, one is loading. So I need not again elaborate these four functions because we have already discussed in our previous part. Now advantages. Absolute loader are simple to implement and more core is available to the user. In short, more memory space available to the user. What is the disadvantage? The programmer must specify to the assembler the address in the core where the program is to be loaded. Means what? In which part of the program has to be loaded, that address has to be specified by the programmer. Further, if there are multiple sub-programs or if there are multiple subroutines, then the programmer must remember the address of each subroutine. This is the end of today's video session. Thank you.